Did you know that Luke Skywalker was a master of the flesh sword as well as the lightsaber? Oh yes. A thirsty man indeed he was, for knowledge, of course, on how to best wield his floppy-woppy weapon. Did you also, perchance, know that Obi-Wan Kenobi spent many a long, cold night on Tatooine dreaming that somebody would come and drill his sandy hole for moisture? Well, now you know, as the Wikipedia has set up a specific LGBTQ+ individuals page, including Luke Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and a whole bunch of others. Now, I'll be the first to admit, I am not that in-depth to Star Wars. I've got a general idea of the universe and some of its fluff, but as for the, well, preferred sexual partners of the characters, well, frankly, this is a point of information that I consider to be, well, mostly completely and utterly irrelevant, frankly. Where they'd like to park their privates in an evening is, it's just not that interesting, if I must be entirely honest. But I am relatively certain that Luke Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi were not LGBTQ in any real observable way. At all. Now, okay, so where does all of this nonsense come from? Well, it comes primarily from this, right here. Wikipedia, the official Star Wars wiki, sort of. I add in the quotation marks there because Star Wars canon and lore and extended universe and etc. is an interesting quagmire, shall we say. And they have changed their logo to this, which, well, do I need to explain any further? Do I have to elaborate on what's happening here? Like, in my opinion, this is exactly the same as if they just exchanged their logo with a nice big swastika. It declares to everyone that they have decided to move away from their silly little fandom sphere of nonsense and into the fields of overt identity politics, much like the Germans did in the 1930s. And they continued to hammer home this point by announcing that they were adding in pronouns in the bio of their characters, purely for lore accuracy reasons, of course. You know, they wouldn't do this to push any politics or anything. Of course, which is why immediately they moved on to make Anakin Skywalker a she, her, or this little lovely guy here, Thrawn, a they, them. Because, you know, they did this purely so they could be more accurate and faithful towards the canon. Obviously. And this is merely another step, because apparently there is, like, one short story made in the current year, obviously, in which Obi-Wan Kenobi had some kind of romantic attachment, sort of, to another male character. Now, I read the excerpt, and it didn't really strike me as romantic at all, more like friendship or companionship rather than gay butt sex, but well, this is the old Sam and Frodo thing, isn't it? The left literally cannot see two men being friends without wondering whether or not one is the pitcher and the other the receiver. As for Luke Skywalker, his story is even worse. So that's a short story where they were buried on the snow on Hoth, and he held another guy's hand, and he made the Force kind of warm up their hands so they could dig their way out of the snowdrift. And that, having warm thingies, is basically the equivalent to homosexual sex, isn't it? I love that, though. Like, I imagine somebody over at Wikipedia or the Disney Writing Lounge is like that, how do gay people have sex? And they look over to the next guy in line like, I don't know, osmosis maybe? They look over to the next guy like, I got it. They hold hands, you see. That's why they have to adopt children, because hand-holding doesn't get you married. Oh, this is so goddamn stupid, and obviously, Wikipedia got a bunch of backlash over this because this was them raising the swastika and saying that they are now a political organization, and so they did what GW had already done earlier by saying that Star Wars is for everyone, and if you disagree, we're just gonna ban and block ya. Because nothing says inclusivity like a gun to the back of your head, of course. Okay, I've made this point again and again and again when it comes to 40k. Namely that before the progressives got into any positions of power at 40k, at Games Workshop more correctly, there was never at any point a sign in the door saying no gays, blacks, Jews or dogs. It served literally anyone with the requisite amount of free spending cash and or 1 or 2 organs to donate. And they would give you plastic. They would give you as much plastic as your bank account could handle, regardless of sexuality and skin color. And you know what's even better? They never even asked for it. I know, it's weird, right? You come to the cash register and the guy on the other side doesn't hand you a checklist like, hey, what's your sexuality, skin color, political preference? All of this is relevant, you see, because it'll determine your price point or whether or not we're even gonna serve you, apparently. This never happened. This was never a thing. Nobody cared. Hell, even the very idea of these characters, beyond their immediate romantic relationships, like Luke wanting to bang his sister for a while, for example, nobody gave a shit. Nobody looked at Wilhuff Tarkin and went like, oh, I wonder which way he swings. No, it was just not relevant information, frankly. And, hey, on the bright side, though, Star Wars has been struggling for a while now. Their latest TV show offerings, like Kenobi, for example, watch the riveting story of Obi-Wan Kenobi cry himself to sleep for hours and hours and hours as he gets his ass kicked by the true hero, some Sith chick we've never met before. Well, not actually Sith, actually, an Inquisitor, who kills another Inquisitor, except she doesn't. And she's evil, except she's not. But she is. I mean, she's killing children, and so on and so on. Or the glory that was young Leia, the main character all of us always wanted from a show focused on Obi-Wan Kenobi and Luke Skywalker, of course. Or Andor, that was a great one, where you just, every scene with Andor in it, you just pray, go away, I'd like to return to the plot I care about. Well, for example, how does the internal logistics of an Imperial prison work? And surely, this is gonna fix it, because, well, Disney's not really doing all that well. For some weird reason, they bought one of the most valuable IPs in human history, and it's just not working out for them. Nobody wants to buy their toys. Nobody wants to buy toys of Rey Skywalker, weirdly enough. But this is the thing. Those 2.4 million subscribers, I bet you, every one of them, they when they were cancelling their subscription, they got that little box at the end going like, why are you cancelling your subscription? I just don't understand. And all of them wrote in there, half of the population of Norway essentially wrote, just not enough they-thems in your TV show entertainment. There's not enough current year politics in my Star Wars, you see, so I can't justify another subscription. If things don't preach to me 24/7, well, my political compass just goes complete haywire, frankly, so, you gotta up that a little bit, and, Wikipedia is doing their part. There was also a little bit of a rumor going around that Disney might focus more on the LGBTQ relationships of its characters, but I've been unable to actually find any, verification of those plans. If anything, the plans I have seen that sounds vaguely reasonable is more that they're going to try and refocus themselves on the older characters, try and head back in the legacy a little bit, like focusing on R2-D2, for example, or trying to unfuck Kenobi or Luke Skywalker. Hell, I mean, the messaging should be pretty goddamn clear. They put Luke, that's English somehow. They put Luke Skywalker in the second season of The Mandalorian as just a CGI cut-in, and that was probably their single most popular episode. Because the CGI ghost of Luke showed up and did Luke things for 5 minutes. Oh my god, revolutionary. If I was Disney investors, I would ask, why don't we do more of that? But, oh well, details. I'm sure that Wikipedia's brave efforts to make sure that in 2023 people care about LGBTQ nonsense will totally see the 2.4 million subscriber loss bounce right on back. Oh yes, I am utterly convinced. Because again, just because nobody ever asked themselves who these people wanted to park their sausages and or clams inside of, it doesn't mean that people aren't dying to know it today, right? Right? Well, we'll see about that. Hey, if Disney wants to bury their streaming service, who am I to object? Go right ahead. In fact, the sooner, the better. Maybe we could even get more, I was about to say, it actually is genuinely interesting, isn't it? So, Hogwarts Legacy came out, right? It's woke as hell, no doubt about it. But it's only woke on the skin level. It's skin deep, right? It's just at the top. The rest of the game actually feels pretty damn alright. It's not really a video game for me, because I don't care much about Harry Potter, but for anyone who actually gives a shit about that franchise, well, to put it like this, if somebody was making a 40k game, I would very much so like it if they took some pointers from Hogwarts Legacy. I can ignore the occasional black ultramarine so long as I can see McClag as McClag, and I can go around looking at all the sights and watching the place where Gilliman used to sit his giant fat ass in his stasis field. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Something true to the actual universe that you place these games and TV series in. It would be stupid to hope at this point, but, fingers crossed and all that. Until next time, I have been Arch. Thank you very much for watching, and, don't tell Wikipedia that you disagree or anything, because God forbid you get banned from their riveting content services. Have a good day.